Rupam tasya grajam rupuri maturi pushtavaturi Radha kundam girivaram ahurati kamadavasham Prapto jasya pradita kripaya shri guruktam mantosmi Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girijat kripatamaham bante shri guruktim taranam Vancha kalpatarvesha kripa sindhu devacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Yesterday we heard that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, he gave emphasis on hearing this Sanatana Shiksha, because here in this Sanatana Shiksha you will find because in Sanatana Shiksha you will find all what is necessary to know. Sambandha, Avidya and Prayojana. Everything is here and all evidences are mostly from Bhagavatam. There are also other Puranas, but based on Bhagavatam, so that one can have good foundation for bhajan. So he told him that Krishna is Advaita Tattva, non-dual truth. There is nothing outside of Krishna. There is nothing else except Krishna. There was one time, in India, there is one place, Ambala camp in Punjab. So one temple was the Lakshmi Narayan temple, and our dad, who was president of that temple, he invited our Gurudev there for some days to speak Harikatha. Morning and evening. In the morning our Gurudev spoke, in the evening our Gurudev. So that program was going on. Then one day one young sannyasi came, and he was insisting to that president that I also want to speak. You allow me to speak. I want to speak. Then he said, already I invited that Maharaj. So how I can tell him that now you can speak after he will go after that time? No, now I want to speak. And repeatedly he was telling. Then that president told him, okay, if I will ask that Maharaj, if he will allow, then I can give you. Then he came to our Paramgurudev and he asked him, there is one sannyasi, he wants to speak the person. No problem, what is the problem? Let him speak for half an hour, then half an hour I will speak. Then he spoke in Punjabi language, and at the end, in Punjabi language, he said, the meaning is, I am Ram, whom I will worship. Like if I am not understand, you tell me what you said. Then he said, I said, I am Ram, whom I will worship. Then Prabhupada looked in his eyes. He said, we are only two here in the room. So I am asking you, really you are Ram? Really you are Ram? And our Prabhupada is realized so. He knows who is Ram, who is Krishna, who is Ram, who is Krishna, Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, eternal reality. And he asked him, you are Ram? Then only that thing, that question bewildered him, because he felt, no, how I can say I am that Supreme Lord as was felt from how Prabhupada told. Like if Narad Goswami, he's coming from Vaikuntha, and he told to Dhruva Maharaj that this is how Supreme Lord looks like, so you meditate on him. So Narad Goswami is directly telling, because directly seeing, like that our Prabhupada realized so. So he asked Ram, then he was bewildered. He said, no, I am not that person. But I was hearing like this from some Mayavadis there in Punjab. There were all Mayavadis there before. Then it was like a stronghold, like a fort. No one could break. But when our Prabhupada came, he broke that Mayavad in whole Punjab. They became devotees. Amritsar, Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Chandigarh, Bathinda, all Mayavadis. Here this was Ambala camp. Then, and I heard from some disciples of Prabhupada who were Mayavadis before. They said, actually, Gurudev did not speak so like nice, very like nice Hindi. He knew Hindi, something he spoke. But we were attracted by his appearance, so beautiful, so shining. And when he was doing Sankirtan and dancing, that attracted us so much that we could give up that thing. So here also this sannyasi, he told of, I was hearing this, now I feel, just this one question. He said, oh, now I feel that was wrong. I was just repeating. Then he said, oh, I will give up this sannyas, I will give up this everything. Then Prabhupada, he encouraged him. He said, no, there is no need for you to give up sannyas. Already you left this worldly enjoyment and these things, you took sannyas, very good. But only you understand what is the real tattva, and you preach that. And he said, actually, that answer I am giving to you now. You are asking, I am Ram, whom I will worship. Then Prabhupada explained to him, there is nothing except Ram. Everything is Ram or Krishna. Because yesterday I told infinite, how you can take, how anything can be outside of infinite. Then he is not infinite. You lose his position, and infinite can be only one. So Bhagavan, Supreme Lord, he is one, not dual. Then he said, but there is nothing except Ram. So you are also Ram. That is correct. Because nothing is outside, you are Ram. But you are not Swarup Ram. You are Rup Ram. Means Swarup Ram means that who is the source of all energies. And Rup Ram is energies. Then we have this material external energy and Jiva on this. So he told him, that is true, you are Ram, because there is nothing except Ram. But you are Rup Ram, whom you have to worship, Ram. You are Ram, but you have to worship Ram. Means you are part of his potency that is not different from Ram. But are also different at the same time. You are his eternal servant. So he explained to him this tattva, then that sannyasi was very, very much encouraged. And he felt yes, then he was very happy, and then he went to preach. Like this, Paramuri. So many other examples also, just this one I remember, but so many others like this. How? Because realized soul is necessary. One who has realized God, then he can explain, like here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining. Vedanti tattva vidanastatam yat jnanam advayam brahmati paramatmati bhagavaniti shabdete. This is Advaya Jnana in Bhagavatam, it is stated, not dual truth, but it is realized in three different depths according to a process one takes. Jnanis, they will realize that non-dual truth is Brahman, Brahma. That Jyoti, that is actually Jyoti coming from Krishna. Here Mahaprabhu also, Brahma Anga Kantita, Nirvishesh Prakasha, Surja Jena Charma Choksha, Jyotirmoy Bhase. Like sun and his light. They are not different. But at the same time they are different. Or diamond and his shine. You cannot separate them. But if you gather all the shine particles of diamond, still they will not become diamond. Diamond is substance and that is potency. So, they will realize this by the process of jnana, and yogis, they will realize Advaya Jnana Tattva as Paramatma, as that Supreme Lord, partial manifestation who is controlling everything in this material world for the sake of creation and maintaining everything and controlling. That Paramatma has three forms. Karma Krishna, that is Paramatma of all. Then Karma Krishna, Kiro Krishna, generally we think Kiro Krishna is Vishnu, one who is in heart is Paramatma, but actually all three are Paramatma. So that is also Bhagavan in his partial manifestation for this creation pastime, and those who are accepting bhakti, they can realize the full truth. That is Bhagavan, one who has all opulences, and as we heard, he has such qualities that he can attract anyone. Today also morning class in Bhagavatam that Atmaramaschamuna verse comes that Hari has such qualities that he can attract anyone. That is why he is Krishna. So then yesterday we also heard that Krishna is one. His form is one. He is one person. But he expands his form into many, can expand for different avatars, for different purposes, but the same person. So we heard the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists in three principal forms: Swayam Rup, Tat Ekatma Rup, and Avesh Rup. Then the original form of the Lord, or Swayam Rup, is exhibited in two forms: Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash. In his original form as Swayam Rup, Krishna is observed as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. This we heard yesterday. Brahma Rupe Dvivido Prakashe Ek Bapu Bokurup Joyche Hoilo Rase Mahishi Vivahe Hoilo Bohu Vindamurti Prabham Prakashe Shastra Parasiddhi Sobari Adiprai Sei Kai Vyuha Noi Kai Vyuha Hoile Nara Dero Bismoi Na Hoi. In his original form, Krishna manifests himself in two features, Prabha and Vaibhav. He expands his one original form into many, as he did during the Rasa dance. Yesterday I explained our Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they did not allow this topic to be spoken, discussed in any public meeting, even not among devotees, those who are not very advanced devotees, because we may misunderstand and associate with some other things, and that will cause our fall down. Only in private, in their room, with those who are qualified, called brothers like this, they used to discuss this, otherwise there is problem. And I can show you all the evidences in the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and in the writings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They are very strict, and Gaudiya, very strict in this matter. Our Bharati Maharaj also, he was reading Bhagavatam, but he skipped that topic. Because anyone can come, and if they don't have proper faith in Krishna as only enjoyer, then they will misunderstand. They will think we can imitate, or they will become envious, and that will be problematic for them. But in general, you know, there is Ras Lila dance, Krishna dancing, that is transcendental. It is nothing of this mundane world. Not any woman, man of this world. That is completely transcendental. That is why one has to be properly trained spiritually to come to know Krishna Tattva and Radha Tattva. Then one can. Otherwise, then when the Lord saw Krishna, yesterday it was Swayam Rup, original is only with Radha. That other, that is Prabha, is Prakash, expanded form. So only those who are in Anugati of Radharani, they can get highest ras. But of course, again I'm telling, that morning I told, that is according to neutral standpoint, highest ras. But each devotee feels his own ras is the best, he is most fulfilling, and Krishna also is most satisfied with him in that his particular rasa. When the Lord married 16,108 wives at Dwarka, he expanded himself into many forms. These expansions and the expansions and the rasa dance are called Prabha, Prakash, according to the directions of revealed scriptures. Our Gurudev, once he was explaining this point, someone thinking, okay, Krishna is powerful man, so he can have 16,108 wives. But so I can also have at least 3, 4. So if he's thinking like this, then he should not touch Bhagavatam, our Paramguru, because not proper Shraddha. Shraddha means by serving Krishna you serve all. He is the only enjoyer. So, if someone does not have proper Shraddha, then he will misunderstand these pastimes. That is why it is not always to hear Krishna's pastimes as the enjoyer, not always beneficial. It is more beneficial to hear the biographies of pure devotees, then we can understand how they worship, what they attain, and we can get inspiration for them. This Lila Katha, especially in Vrindavan, very carefully you have to approach. But he must have at least Shraddha, firm faith, not with any misconception. Like Mayavadis, they think this is Brahma in some material form, doing Lila. And some other, they think in so many different ways. So because that Bhagavatam himself says that they quote that verse that if you hear the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis, then your hridrog kam, heart disease lust, will be removed and you will get devotion. That is true, but there are two words there mentioned. One is Shraddhanvita, with faith. Another is with Anusrinuyat, means you have to hear in Anugatya from realized soul, proper bona fide source, and that source, proper bona fide, he will consider your adhikar, when to speak what. Why Shukadeva Goswami did not start speaking that canto immediately? And ask her, why not? There is a purpose. Why? That is all necessary. Not just Krishna Tata, you have to know. And Anusrinuyat means in Anugatya, another is Anusrinuyat, you have to hear again and again, means continuously. Anusrinuyat, who can do that? One who attained the level of Nishta. He can continuously hear, not only like something and enjoying, and also Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami said it is not correct. Some people say, I have very much taste for hearing Ras Lila, but he has no taste for chanting Harinam, no interest in chanting Harinam. That taste for his, like Ras Lila hearing, that is all false. This worldly enjoyment, like when our Paragurudev, he came to Dehradun, that is under Himalaya, near Rishikesh, Dehradun. So there, our Paragurudev came for preaching, he was invited. Then there was some Bengali club, some Bengalis living there, and they heard some Bengali Maharaj is coming from Bengal. So they were very happy, and they invited him to their club, and they said, Maharaj, you please speak Ras Lila. We want to hear. Even Muslims, they like to hear Ras Lila, because they think it's these worldly things. So they also said, we want to hear. Then Paragurudev, by his own example, he said, actually, I am not qualified to speak on that topic. But I can tell you about Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, that I can tell you. So our Paragurudev very strict, Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur also, all Prabhupada's disciples, because it is coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In so many places I can show you evidence. So, just in general that we know, which each gopi, Krishna is there, but that is expanded form. And here in Dwaraka also, with each wife, one Krishna is there. And this is next point, is very important. The Prabhava Prakasha expansions of Lord Krishna are not like the expansions of the sage Sobari. Had they been so, Narad would not have been astonished to see them. This means indication. There was Sobari. He can also expand himself. But that is not saying, that is like by yogic power. And if he lifts one hand, then all the forms will lift hand. But Krishna can do pastime differently. When Narad Goswami came to Dwaraka, he went to one palace and he saw Krishna doing something there. Then he went to another and Krishna was doing something else there like this. That is why he was astonished. And you know, Sobari Rishi is very important teaching for us. He committed offense to, I think, Garuda, some Vaishnava. That is why he was doing the yoga practice in Jamuna, but he saw some fishes, they are mating, then he got the desire, then he came out, and he came to that Madan king, and he said, I want to marry your daughter. He had 50 daughters. Then, but he was very old and also ugly because of old, and also he was in water so much time, so skin, everything was very. Then the king, he was in awkward situation. He's like a great saint, but I also have affection for my daughter, so how I can say to some of my daughters to marry such old, ugly man? How I can say? Then he said, okay, if any of my daughters herself will want to marry you, then I can give you. Then Sobari Rishi immediately understood why he's asking, why he's telling like this. Then he looked in reflection, oh yes, I'm very ugly. Then immediately he, by yogic power, he became very beautiful. Then when he came there and all 50 daughters, not one, everyone, all of them, they wanted to marry him. So he had to give 50. And by yogic power, he made 50 palaces and for enjoyment. No any earning money, by yogic power. Then he was enjoying, but after some time he understood that this is not, I was doing sadhana, and this is not, you cannot be fulfilled. Then he came to his senses, and he started his surrender to Krishna, went to forest in bhajan, and his wives also they followed him. They also became realized souls. So Narada was very astonished to see how Krishna is doing his pastimes there in Dwaraka. Chitra padaita tekena papusha jugapat pritak griheshu yashtas sahasram striya eka udamhat. This is from Bhagavad. It is astounding that Lord Shri Krishna, who is one without the second, there is no one else, expanded himself in 16,000 similar forms to marry 16,000 queens in their respective homes. Sei Bobusera Kriti Pritak Jodi Bhase Bhavamesh Videnam Vaibhava Prakashe Ananta Prakashe Krishna Nahi Murti Bhed Akar Varnastra Bhed Naam Vived. If one form or feature is differently manifested according to different emotional features, it is called Vaibhava Prakash. When the Lord expands himself in forms, there is no difference in the forms, but due to different features, bodily colors and weapons, the names are different. Anyecha Sanskrit Tatmano Vidi Nabhi Hidenate Yajanti Tvamayastave Bahumurti Ekamurtikam. In different Vedic scriptures, there are prescribed rules and regulated principles for worshipping different types of forms. When one is purified by these rules and regulations, he worships you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although manifested in many forms, you are one and the same person. Supreme Lord is one, omnipotent, and only doing different pastimes, like king in his private chambers with his wife or many wives, and that same king in the court, same person, but doing different lila. In his private chambers, even his daughter may climb on his shoulders, or may slap, wife can slap, different things, but not in court. In court, he's in charge. So one, but in many forms. Vaibhava Prakash Krishna Shri Balaram, Varna Matra Ved Sop Krishna Rasaman, Vaibhav Prakash Jaiche Deva Gitanuch, Dvibhuj Sarup Kobo Hoy Chaturbuj, Je Kale Dvibhuj Nam Vaibhav Prakash, Chaturbuj Hoy Nam Prabhav Prakash. The first manifestation of the Vaibhava feature of Krishna is Shri Balaram Ji. Shri Balaram and Krishna have different bodily colors, but otherwise Shri Balaram is equal to Krishna in all respects. Only color is different. We heard Balaram Purnima. It's the same. Color is a mood. His mood of servant. But he is Supreme Lord, Vishnu Tattva. That is why in Archa Marg you can offer tulsi leaf to the feet of Baladev Prabhu, to Krishna and to Baladev, or Gauranga and Nityananda can offer to the feet, but not to Radharani. Radharani is Shakti Tattva. So you can put in hand or here, but forcefully you cannot offer one devotee another. So, but Balaram is same, so we should not make any mistake. He is Sandhini Shakti, Mat Vigraha, so he is manifesting that Dham and all paraphernalia for Krishna service. An example of Vaibhava Prakash is the son of Devaki, Krishna. That is not same as Vrindavan Krishna. Same person, but different lila, and you will hear from Janmashtami days, Goswamis, they explain that there Jashoda also gave birth to Nandananda Krishna. Jashodananda Krishna gave birth. In Bhagavatam it is not directly mentioned. She gave twins, one daughter and Krishna, Vrindavan. And then when Vasudev Maharaj brought that Mathura Krishna, he merged into him. Arati. Vancha.